Hey, it's Brad over at Computers Byte LLC at 393 Bacon Avenue in Oshkosh. Our phone number is 920-238-6676. And today we're going to be looking at Windows 8. A lot of people always ask me what it looks like. Should they upgrade from Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7? Well, we're just going to give you a basic rundown of what Windows 8 looks like. And this is the startup screen. We got this cute little spinning circle thing on the bottom. I love it. That's absolutely why I love 8. It's amazing. I'm gonna weigh everything out for you, and you can just make a decision on your own if you're ready to upgrade. But if you're ready for a big change, then you probably want to upgrade. But if you're not ready to make that change just yet, then you probably don't even want to bother upgrading. At this point, if you don't have Windows 7, I would recommend upgrading to Windows 7 at this time. This way you have a little more recent technology and you're not sitting in the Stone Age with Windows XP or Vista. Okay, so here you have your logon screen. Most of the time it will ask you to put in a username and password or create a Microsoft account. You absolutely do not have to. A lot of people think that you're forced into doing it, but I've gotten past that part, as you can see. So I don't have to enter any kind of a password. I'm not the CIA or FBI. I don't need any kind of a password on my computer. I'm not hiding anything from my wife, so of course it just boots right in. Alright, so anyway, this is your start page. Of course, as you can see, it looks very different now. Yes, you got all these squares. These are your programs, which they call them apps now. They call them apps. But it gets kind of confusing if you don't know what you're doing. Especially when you have a ton of different squares that you don't really care for, like SkyDrive. I don't use that. Store, I don't really care for it. So how do you get rid of one of these? Well, you can just simply right click on it. And then if you look on the bottom here, it says unpin from start, larger, turn live tile off. You can actually just click on unpin from the start page and then boom, it's gone. So that's just an easy way to get rid of any one of these squares you don't really care about. So messaging, I don't really care about that, so I'm going to right click again. It shows a check mark, and on the very bottom it says unpin from start. So watch when I click that. Boom, it's gone, just like that. If you want to move any one of these squares around, you simply left click and drag it to where you want to go. So you have a nice sleek looking screen. I'll give it that. For the looks, it looks great. Alright, but I mean, if you're kind of familiar with the icons and everything, like they have their own shape, they have their own size, you know exactly where they are. I mean, it just takes some getting used to, because all these squares are pretty much the same size. So it's like, alright, it just takes some getting used to. Now this is your start page. Now we're going to go to the desktop. The desktop is right here, which you are very familiar with. Alright, you'll notice that you have your icons. Firefox has its own shape. Winamp has its own shape. It's easy to depict on which program is which. They're not all the same size. So personally, that's the thing that I don't like about 8, is with the start page over here, you got all the same sizes. Just doesn't, I don't really care for it. I like the different sizes, and I can easily understand, okay, this is a fireball, here it is, and then this has got a little lightning bolt in there. But, alright, enough with the nitpicking. Another thing I really do not like about 8, if you look in the corner, you're used to that start button. If you look here, it's not there. So if you put your cursor or your mouse in the bottom corner there, this little start page comes out there. Now that doesn't get you your menu. So if you click on that, it brings you back to here. I'm so used to clicking on start my programs or all programs, or start my pictures, my music, my documents. That's easily where I can find everything. But as you can see in Windows 8, they took the start button away. It's gone. There's nothing there. If you move your mouse in the very corner, the start page comes out, and then there you go. So that's kind of a downfall to Windows 8. There's no start button anymore. Also, you can hit the Windows key, which is right here. This will get you your start page just the same as if you're pressing the start page in the lower corner. So that's just one thing that a lot of people hate. You know, they're so used to clicking start, shut down, and then that's it. I mean, just 2 easy steps. With that being said, how to shut the computer off. Another basic little tutorial in this video. A lot of people ask, well, now that I don't have the start button, how the heck do I even shut this thing off? Well, how you do that is you put your mouse in the very top right corner here. This little menu is going to pop out of the side. You see that? There it is. Now you got a couple different little buttons here. Oh, there's that start button again. I think it's kind of monotonous to have it in the bottom corner and have it in the right side, and you got your windows. So there's three things right there to get you back to the start page, but no stinking start menu. So that's one downfall that I think that a lot of people just really can't get used to, is that change. So anyway, back to shutting the computer off. So we put our cursor in the top right corner here, and you got all these different icons here, and of course the time and date come up on the side there. That's kind of cool. I'm not going to bash Windows 8 completely. It's got some nice features, but it's not what everybody is used to, and I think taking the start menu out altogether is kind of ridiculous. Anyway, to shutting it off, we want to go to settings, this little gear, and then we want to go to power, and then we got sleep, shutdown, restart. So we're going to obviously go to shutdown, and let's see how long it takes to shut down. Oh, it looks like it's already off, but if you notice the power button is still on the computer. We'll see how long it takes. The fans are still running. So even though it looks like the computer is completely off, it's technically not. I think with Windows 7 the computer shut off way faster. Now it finally shut off about 30 to 45 seconds after you click shut down. So that's kind of another deceiving thing about Windows 8. If the screen blacks out right away, is it really off? You can hear the fan still moving for about 45 seconds, and of course you can still physically see the light on yet. So obviously it's not really shutting off any faster. Now let's turn it back on. I think as far as coming on, it turns on pretty swiftly. It comes on, and there it is. There's your login page, and then of course there's your start page again. You just simply move your mouse to the right and then or the left, and that's how you move back and forth on this page. I mean, it looks kind of nice, just takes some time getting used to. Everybody's used to the desktop, which is right here. People are afraid of change. I mean, I'm one that doesn't really like dramatic change. I like a little bit of change, but this is, with removing the start menu, it's kind of difficult now. Another way to shut the computer off is if you move your mouse in the bottom corner here and you right click. So the menu is going to pop out of here, and you can go to any one of these things: programs and features, mobility center, power options, event viewer, all these different things. And task manager, of course, you can pull up the control panel right away. As far as Windows 8.1 goes, they do bring the start button back, but it just brings you back to this page. It doesn't bring the start menu back. An option you can do is, there's different third-party applications out there. You can probably purchase one for $5 or $10, and then it does bring the start menu back, and you can, it's just like having a start menu again. Personally, I've tried a couple of them, and they kind of lag a little bit. It's not, okay, you just click on it and boom, there it is. Sometimes it takes like a couple seconds to kind of fully function and come on, so it's kind of an annoyance to me. I don't really care for it. But anyway, let's bring back the start page here. Now you got all these different icons, people, mail, desktop, computer, messaging, calendar, photos. If I want to look at the stocks and all that stuff with finance, I can check that out. Weather. You got the Microsoft Store. You can do whatever you want on there. They got a thing called SkyDrive where you can actually save some files online, and I think after a certain amount of space being sucked up, then you got to pay for it. I'm not too sure. I don't use it. I use a external hard drive. But anyway, let's click on photos here. So we're going to open up photos, and it just kind of comes out at you. It's kind of cool, and it's got a Swift looking feature. So we got the photos open, and we're going to check this out and see what's in here. So of course you got to wait a little bit for it to open up. It's going to bring up my photos on the computer. I don't really have anything on in my library, which is right down in the corner. It's got a couple things in there of my wife and I. I mean, one thing, it kind of stinks that it takes a little bit to open up. Instead of start, my pictures, boom, there it is. You gotta wait 10-15 seconds for this thing to load up and load all these things in here. I mean, I guess if you're just used to that, great. Now, how to close this out? I mean, obviously, if you look in the corner here, there's no X. There's no red X like you're used to. Where in the heck do you close this out? How do I get back to the screen? Well, you could click on the Windows key. That just brings you back to the start page. But technically, Photos is still open. If you look down here, it's still there. It's still running, so it's going to suck up a little memory in the background if you just kind of put it off to the side. A way to shut it off or close is if you take your mouse and move it to the very top of the page. You see how it changed from a mouse to a little hand here? You want to make sure that hand shows up, and you want to left click on your mouse, click and drag it down to the very bottom of the screen. See, like that? Boom, it's gone. So that just shuts that off, and it's gone. To get right back to it, you just click back on Photos. It just brings you back to the same thing you were at before. One more time. I'm in a photo here. I want to just close this program out. No start, or there's no red X on the corner, so I want to make sure to put my mouse in the very top of the page. Bring it all the way down to the bottom, and boom, it's closed. Another thing that looks kind of cool is that they changed the outline of the folders. If you look up here, you got all these different icons here, and it looks a little, a little more sleek and organized and cleaned up a bit. The thing I don't really like, I'm used to that big back button up here, but now if you look here, they kind of reduced it down to this small little circle now, so it's kind of smaller. Another thing I'm going to show you real quick before we end the tutorial is how to simply get to your pictures and documents. There's a couple different ways to do this. The easiest way that I like to do it is if you look here next to the internet icons and your application icon, you got this folder here. You can click on the folder and it'll bring up this libraries folder. There's documents, there's pictures, there's your videos, and there's your music. So before it used to be start, my documents, start, my pictures, my music, all right there. But if you click on that folder on the bottom corner there, it'll just bring this up and you can get to it that way. Another way you can simply do this is by clicking on the computer icon. And then if you'll notice on the right or the left side here, you got documents, you got music, pictures, and videos. So you can click on one of these on the browser side there and get right in there. Also, one last basic thing before I go. A lot of people ask me, well, I got this new computer. How the heck do I get online? I need my Wi-Fi. So it gets kind of confusing when you see all this and you're not used to this start page and you don't see any kind of a thing in the bottom corner where the Wi-Fi connections are. So what you want to do is you just want to make sure this menu comes out. Just click on settings, and then you got your connections right here. And then of course mine is Computers Byte and I'm connected to it. So let's just say I want to connect to this Aries. I would just click on that. Make sure this connect automatically is checked, because if it's unchecked, you're going to have to manually do this every single time, which is a pain in the butt. Then you click on connect, and then it's going to ask you for a network key, which is your Wi-Fi password. You want to make sure you have this on your network, because if you don't have one, your neighbors, anybody across the street, I could sit outside your house and get on your internet connection for free and just use up your bandwidth. And this way it'll slow you down. You want to make sure, if you don't have a Wi-Fi key set on your router at home, make sure you get it set up. If you don't know how to do this, you can always contact me as well. I can help you through for a fee, and then we can get that set up. There's also this thing called the WPS button where you can easily push that on your router. Some of them have it, and then this way it'll just automatically connect for you. However, if you're not familiar with putting your key in all the time and you just automatically have it do that, you can easily forget what your Wi-Fi password is. This way, if your neighbors come over or somebody that you want to make sure that gets on the internet, you don't know what the Wi-Fi password is, so you're constantly not remembering what it is. By having that WPS connect automatically, you can easily forget if you don't have it written down. So that's one thing to a downfall to having the WPS. It does connect automatically, it is pretty nice, but out of sight, out of mind. If you don't regularly use it all the time, you can easily forget what your password is, and it always happens to the best of us. So basically that's Windows 8 in a nutshell there. I didn't cover everything, but that's just the basic idea on how to get online, how to shut it off, how to navigate around and get on the internet, so you can just get going right away. If you're stuck with Windows 8, at this point I recommend Windows 7. I think that it is a great system. Everybody's used to it all those years, and then all of a sudden, boom, this big change happens, and now people are confused and lost, and it takes you a good month and a half to get used to something like that. If you simply don't have the time for that, I would recommend Windows 7 then. You just want to buy the computer, get it out of the box, get on, and boom, you're used to whatever you're used to, and you're running a business or whatever you're doing, you want to just get back to the old way that you're used to. So Windows 7 at this time would be a great recommendation. If you look in the stores today, you're not going to find anything with Windows 7 on it. Certain stores might sell it, but they might upsell you, $500, $600, $700, because a lot of people are just simply used to 7 and they like it. I recommend Dell computers and HP computers. You can go on HP.com or Dell.com and make sure that under the operating system you're selecting Windows 7, because if you're not, it's automatically going to be Windows 8 right away, or 8.1, and then you're going to be stuck with this nightmare right here. Some people like change. They have all the time in the world. They like new things, just like my wife does. My wife loves it. I hate it. I'm not used to it. I could try to get used to it, but being a technician, I am not happy with the way it's set up, simply because there's the easiest things they've taken out, and I'm just very picky like that. I want to make sure that this is going to be something that I want to use for a long time. So alright, well, hopefully you've enjoyed my Windows 8 tutorial. This is just a basic rundown of 8. Once again, I'm going to show you how to shut this thing off. We're going to take your mouse and put it in the very right corner of the screen. You're going to click on Settings, Power, and Shut Down. Alright, thanks for watching. Check us out on the web at computersbyte.net. That's computers with an S, BYTE.net. If you look down below, you'll see the address there. We'll talk to you later.